Hello and welcome to the HG podcast. Today I'm joined by Yuri Williams. Yuri is the founder of nonprofit A Future Superhero and Friends. Yuri, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. You have a great nonprofit where you do, you dress up as a superhero to help, children battling cancer, the houseless, people with disabilities. It's truly, amazing work what you're doing. Can maybe just tell people a little bit more about, the nonprofit and what you do?
Basically, it was founded in 2017, but before I was funded it on my own, 2009 until 2017, when I decided to forego this project. I lost my mom to cancer 2009, so I was in I'll say depression stage for about 5 years, and I had to find something to get out of that depression, and this nonprofit really helped me. We service the houseless community, veterans, visit ill children, special needs, and those children battling disabilities, battling illnesses. And, anything that I can do to uplift humanity and help those in need, even low income families, we help them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, like you said, your mom kind of, positively impacted you and kind of, I read your story, kind of how you saw her kindness and it kind of, inspired you. How did that, really go from, like when it started from a thought to maybe reality? Some like what you're doing is it's big, big time work. I think a lot of people in the world maybe want to do good deeds, but then they don't know how to take the next step. So how did you take that first step?
I just got out there and did it. Like I tell people all the time, we used to live next door to in our building. We had all sorts of people. We had the people, the good people. You had the gang members. You had the drug dealers. You had the drug addicts. And I learned a lot from being in that area where I grew up, and to see my mother fight through all of this, and just to be able to do what she does, to help people. She was a probation officer, and a lot of her clients were in the community. So she'd be driving down the street and happen to see them and pull over and yell at them and tell them, you don't need to be doing this and that, and stay on them and just be kind to them at the same time. She just wanted the best for everybody, and I used to see that. I even got a chance to go to work with her on the weekends inside the juvenile hall, which you can't do now, but I learned a lot from just being with her. I sponged so much stuff, and I use it to this day, and her kindness is just a way of what I do. I keep her name alive by doing what she taught me.
Right. What was, your first act, that you did? Like, what was the kind of the first, helping hand you lent someone, and then you kind of realized, oh, maybe I should, keep doing this,
I would say probably just being out in the neighborhood and helping the houseless person. But seeing, growing up in LA, you see so much. I've seen so much since I was a kid till now, and to be able to help people in the capacity that's needed right now is a must. I live in LA area, and this is the most populated community of houseless. I've been to all 50 states twice, and a lot of people have it under control, but LA is just starting to get out of hand. And I think the first time that I actually, I was in that depression stage, and I started to bought the Spider-Man costume, and I went to a 5K walk where I was able to meet a family, the Diego and Zura's family. Rest in peace, he's no longer here with us. But that day, that's when I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing. I brightened up this kid's life and family, and I was able to send them home in a good way. We bought out the movie theater for Spider-Man for him and his family and other friends. I took him to see Marvel show, and just that experience alone just taught me this is what you're supposed to be doing. And ever since that day, I've been pedal to the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing stuff that you're doing, because you mentioned, you had your own depression, and, probably some of the, acts of kindness that you've done have helped cure, your
Right,
own depression.
right.
But, you're also doing amazing stuff by, you're probably curing other people's depression as well, whether it's the child battling the cancer or maybe the family as well.
Right, right. I mean, I enter these hospitals or I visit your house, and I tell people all the time, I'm glad I wear a mask because a lot of times I'm tearing because I'm able to see, a child that's in pain when I first get there, and then the relief after, I start talking in a character or whatever, and the parents are, more excited than the kids, and that's a relief for them as well.
Yep. No, yeah, you don't. Good to wear the mask for the tears, like you
Right,
said.
right.
uh, you mentioned you've done a 50 states tour, I think a couple times, I
Yeah.
believe. What was that tour like, and kind of like, I mean, making an impact in every state in the whole country. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the only, I have to ask Guinness Book, only person to travel twice. As once as Spider-Man, the other one is Deadpool. So I don't know if that's a record or not, but
Yeah, we got to reach out to him, get you in
yeah,
there.
yeah. But that was a eye-opening experience because it was so many people that we got a chance to touch, and I have it all documented in video. And to be able to go to each city and visit somebody and just make an impact on them. And it was a individual who was a veteran. We happened to post his video. We got him shoes and all that stuff for Christmas. And his sister actually saw the post and, was able to, through that post, find him and get him off the streets, and it's just little stories like that that make you feel good and want to make you continue to doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's pretty cool that visiting every state, you probably maybe just see different backgrounds that maybe not a lot of people get to see. I mean, I think a lot of people in certain states, maybe they only get to see what the media tells them.
Right.
But your journey, you kind of see things firsthand. Each state you go to. What kind of inspired you along that journey?
It's funny. I had a kid that committed suicide at work. I'm a correctional officer in a mental health unit, and I had to seek therapy after that. They gave me workers' comp. I had to get therapy for that, and
Right.
I remember doing an assignment there, and I said I wanted to hug one person in each state. And I'll never forget that I found that paper one day, and I happened to meet my brother Rodney Smith Jr., who's traveled to 50 states 9 times already,
Yep.
and I told him, like, man, I want to be a part of this. And that letter was just, I don't know if it was meant to be. The stuff came together, and then and it happened. But that I'll never forget that I said that, and it came true.
All right. No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, Rodney. He's been on the podcast as well before. He's doing some great work. So that's pretty cool that you guys got to join up and both just impact every state you've been to. And so did you get to hug a person in every state?
Yeah, I actually did. I actually did.
Maybe Guinness Book World Record of most hugs in every state.
Yeah, we got to reach out to him and ask him, man.
uh, what makes you want to, when you first started this whole journey, what has made you like want to impact the certain communities that you've chosen, whether it's children battling cancer, the houseless, was it kind of any personal experience for you that decided, or is that kind of who you thought needed the most help?
Like I said, I grew up around that, and I see what drugs can do. I've seen the rich person get on drugs and end up homeless. And it's the people have this thing where they think everybody's an alcoholic or drug addict that's houseless on the street, and that's not, not necessarily true. I've seen running to doctors, veterans, lawyers, you name it, whatever occupation you could think of, somebody has become houseless. You have your celebrities that were houseless and now they're big time millionaires. Like I just hate that people look down on people and to make assumptions and you don't know their story. Everybody has a story, and we should all learn everybody's story and not always assume.
Right. Yeah, it's like, had a guest on this podcast before who helps the homeless, and we've kind of talked about it is unfortunate that it seems our society is kind of you know let go of those people and just doesn't want to help them at all. But as you just mentioned too, it's not no one really just decides I want to be homeless and they'd like to just stay that way. There's always some sort of internal struggle that maybe some outsider perspective they just don't understand.
Right.
But someone I talked with made a good point is we have to find a way to help them but not enable them.
Right.
So maybe in your experience, you've met with a lot of these people. How can from an outside perspective, how can we help these people without enabling them?
First is just speak to them, build a relationship with them. I tell people all the time, don't just go hand out food. If you're in a rush, I understand you hand out the food and you keep pushing. But I mean, if you see this gentleman all the time, find out their story and ask them, how I can help you. I had a gentleman that was 70 plus years old that was out here houseless. I mean, clean individual. You wouldn't even know he was houseless. And his thing was to just clean up the community or whatever. And the thing with me is I like to build a relationship with you. I've got a helpful Honda to come out and get him a new wagon and new clothes and all this stuff. And I want him to gain his trust. So eventually, he comes to me and he says, I'm ready to get off the street. And before, I used to pressure people like as soon as I meet them, let's get you off the street. And it doesn't work like that. People get tired of telling the same story over and over. And then, just say, for instance, you're the individual and I keep telling you, well, next week I'm going to get you a house, and next week and next week. After a while, you're going to be like, I can't trust you anymore,
Right. And I'm sure for a lot of those people too, there's probably a big lack of trust that they have in someone actually helping them. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who they're houseless, they get lended a hand, but then that person maybe just wants to use them for their own clout or whatever it may be. But I think that's good that, like you said, maybe just reach out and try and understand their story, maybe how they got there, and take it more slowly. I think like you said, maybe if you just dive right in, it might startle them a little bit.
Right.
How was during these times COVID kind of impacted your ability to help others, and how do you kind of go through that?
I've still been out there. Like I've been helping people that can, the elderly that can't come out. I'll go grocery shopping for them. We've raised money to purchase medications for children. Still out there for Easter. I gave away Easter baskets to drop them on the step back, and
Right.
you still have to have some sort of interaction during this time because a lot of people are at home with depression and anxiety because they can't do the normal things that they usually do. You know what I'm saying? And these kids that have special needs and that are autistic and other issues going on at home, it's hard for those children as well just to sit in front of a computer, whereas they're usually used to going to a classroom and interacting with the teacher, So I just try to do as much as I can and continue doing as much as I can, even during this situation.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Like, I think it's probably even more so important during these times. Like you said, people dealing with anxiety, depression, even more so. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in a Black Mirror episode. So sometimes, it isn't, like you said, important to, help those other people during these times. And you even got a built-in mask too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I'm good to go.
So I see you got some stuff behind you.
That's my
your personal favorites?
This is my new Baby Yoda. And then my Mandalorian helmet and Scout Trooper helmet. That's the Scout Trooper one is the one I use for Christmas time. And I gave away Baby Yodas to special needs children for Christmas. So we drove up and down the California coast since we couldn't do the 50-state tour. And we gave away 144 Baby Yodas to special needs children, children with disabilities and those battling illnesses.
Awesome. Is there like a personal favorite for the superheroes?
Right now it's probably Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big series right now. I am a big fan, so
I can't wait
yeah,
to throw that suit on and get the kids' reaction.
yeah. Is it actually like a little bit heavy? I mean, I know it's probably not actually steel, but I
Nah,
mean,
it's the helmet.
is it actually
It's not that heavy.
okay?
Yeah, no, you could just toss it around or whatever. It's not heavy at all.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, if you were carrying around some Mandalorian,
Oh no, no, not the real deal. Nah.
then you would be a true superhero right
Right,
there.
right.
So how can people, if they want to reach out and help and maybe donate, how can they do that?
You can visit the website www.futuresuperhero.org. I'm really trying. Next month we're going to do a t-shirt fundraiser because right now all of our funds are depleted from last year, and basically I'm working my regular job to support the nonprofit. And
Right.
I mean I tell people all the time I don't have a problem with that, but if I'm able to receive donations, I'll be able to do a lot more like I've done in the past.
Definitely. Yeah, hopefully we can help get you there soon. I know the struggle of bouncing back and forth, and you know but think it's awesome what you're doing.
Thank you.
To end like each podcast, I like to ask a specific question to the guest.
Okay.
um I'd love to hear your perspective. For you, what is happiness?
Happiness is waking up and making a difference in your life and someone else's that you interact with that day.
Hmm. And how can maybe anyone listening who, I mean, you're skilled in helping others now. You've been doing it. You've been killing it. How can other people, maybe if they who are just waiting to jump in and take a leap to help others? I know you mentioned, say, just start. Uh, maybe what's like maybe just get out there and do a good deed, or what would be your advice?
I would say watch my videos and learn from my videos. I'm not I don't say expert. I like to say a specialist in this field, and
Yeah.
get in your community and see what the need is. Like if you're living in New York and it's cold, I don't think you should be getting shorts for the houseless community. So you need to get out there and find out what's the need in the community. I've a lady reached out to me today and just told me, her students need uniforms and socks and shoes. So you need to get out there and find out what the need is and get out there and try your best to help. But don't, when I first started, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would get in my bank account and go crazy, because the adrenaline rush from this, I just love it, and to
Right.
help people. But don't go crazy and think you're gonna be able to save everybody. Take your time and just start with one person, and then just keep going and going from there until you got it down packed.
Yep. Kind of like a domino effect. Once
Yeah,
you do one, you're itching for some more. So,
right.
we could use some more specialists in your in your line of work. So, appreciate what you're doing and everything. So everyone who's listening to the podcast, make sure to check out Yuri Williams on Instagram. We'll make sure to tag you. So, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.